When a sore throat won't quit, or a cut turns red, what do you reach for? My grandfather never reached for a bottle. He reached for the garden. I'm Levi Yoder, Lancaster County, and my Amish community has trusted one bulb for over 200 years: garlic. We're counting down 10 reasons why, from hidden chemistry to honest safety warnings. You'll never see your kitchen the same way. Number 10. In the 10th place, garlic's story begins long before pharmacies or prescription bottles. Ancient laborers relied on garlic for strength and endurance, grinding it into daily meals as a form of practical protection against illness. When Mennonite and Amish families sailed to Pennsylvania in the 1700s and 1800s, they carried this folk wisdom across the Atlantic. Herb gardens were as essential as barns or wells. In Lancaster County, garlic found its place alongside teas, tonics, ointments, and poultices in the everyday household system of care. This wasn't a new discovery or passing health craze. Garlic was simply part of what families knew, a remedy inherited through generations and woven into daily life. Number 9. The sharp, unmistakable scent that fills the kitchen when garlic is crushed isn't just a quirk of the plant, it's chemistry in action. As soon as a clove is chopped or smashed, an enzyme called alliinase leaps into motion, transforming the otherwise mild alliin into allicin, the compound behind garlic's bite and most of its reputed activity. That powerful aroma is the first clue that the reaction is underway, peaking within about a minute. But there's a catch. If garlic goes straight from the cutting board to a hot pan, the heat destroys that same compound almost instantly. That's why Amish cooks and folk healers alike will tell you to let crushed garlic rest for a few minutes before cooking, giving the chemistry time to finish its work. This simple step, rooted in both tradition and science, turns a kitchen staple into something more than flavor, at least for those willing to wait. 8th place, the most practical habit in Amish garlic tradition comes down to how you prepare it. Swallowing a whole clove barely moves the needle. What matters is breaking the clove open. Crushing or mincing releases the enzyme alliinase, which transforms alliin into allicin, the compound at the heart of garlic's reputation. The folk method is simple. Chop or smash the clove, let it rest 5 to 10 minutes, then add it to food or take it raw. That little pause makes all the difference, giving the chemistry time to work. It's a habit anyone can copy, and the cost is hard to beat. A homegrown bulb runs just a few cents. Compare that to a bottle of immune support capsules at the store, priced anywhere from $15 to $25. For families who value self-reliance, this is wellness at its most accessible. No miracle claims, just a kitchen skill passed down through generations. Number 7. Cold season in Amish country brings out a remedy as familiar as the first frost. When a scratchy throat or a runny nose appears, the kitchen answer is simple. Crush a clove of garlic, stir it into warm water with honey and lemon, and sip it slowly as the evening settles in. This practice, passed down through generations, isn't about chasing miracles. It's about doing what families have always done when medicine is miles away. The science, though, draws a careful line. Reviews of clinical trials find little evidence that garlic can shorten the misery once a cold sets in. In fact, the best-run studies show no meaningful difference in how long symptoms last. Yet there's a twist. One clinical trial did find that people who took garlic every day for 3 months caught fewer colds than those who didn't. That's a hint at prevention, not cure. For the Amish, and for anyone who's ever reached for a homegrown bulb on a chilly night, garlic sits somewhere between tradition and possibility. Never a substitute for real medical care, but a comfort that costs almost nothing. Number 6, the cost difference is where garlic's story shifts from folklore to household math. A bulb grown in the backyard demands little more than a patch of soil, a bit of water, and patience. Pennies at most. Meanwhile, a box of over-the-counter cold or flu remedy runs $10 to $15 at the pharmacy, and that's just for one person, one round. Multiply that by each family member, season after season, and the expense piles up fast. For many, that price gap is more persuasive than any scientific debate. When a homegrown clove can fill the same role for a fraction of the cost, it's no wonder families keep coming back to the old ways. Number 5, respecting the plant means respecting its power and its risks. Raw garlic, for all its uses in Amish kitchens and home remedies, is never meant to be pressed straight onto bare skin. The chemistry that gives garlic its bite can also burn. Dermatology case reports describe real chemical burns appearing in less than an hour, especially when raw garlic is trapped under a bandage or left against the skin unsupervised. In Amish tradition, when garlic was used for topical remedies, it was always mixed with honey or oil and watched closely, never left to work on its own. The lesson is clear. Natural doesn't always mean gentle. The same compound that can help in the right dose can harm if ignored. In the world of home remedies, caution is as important as curiosity, and the old wisdom still holds. Dilute, don't risk, and never assume a kitchen cure is harmless. Number 4, honesty matters more than hype. Garlic, for all its history in Amish kitchens and folk medicine, is not insulin for diabetes. It is not chemotherapy, and it is not a stand-in for a doctor's care when a serious bacterial infection takes hold. The old ways never promised miracles, just a bit of help when resources were scarce and hospitals were far away. What garlic offers is a tradition of everyday support, a kitchen remedy for the sniffles, a boost for the immune system, a comforting ritual passed down through generations. Its value belongs in prevention and daily wellness, not in exaggerated claims of cure. The story of garlic is strongest when it is told straight, grounded in real practice, not in promises it cannot keep. Number 3, the strongest science in garlic's story comes from the laboratory bench. When chemists first isolated allicin in 1944, they found that this sulfur-rich compound could stop certain bacteria in their tracks, at least in a petri dish. Lab studies since then have shown that allicin and related thiosulfonates can kill both common and drug-resistant strains, like Staphylococcus aureus and E. coli, at concentrations measured in micrograms per milliliter. But there's a world of difference between what happens in a test tube and what happens inside the human body. The concentrations needed for real antibacterial action are much higher than what a person could get from eating even a generous helping of raw garlic. That's one reason garlic never became a prescription drug. There's another, too. A natural plant compound like allicin can't be patented, so there's little incentive for pharmaceutical companies to run the expensive trials needed for approval. The contrast is hard to ignore. A week's course of antibiotics can cost anywhere from $20 to $200, while a head of garlic from the garden rarely tops $1. The evidence is real, but the line between lab results and everyday medicine is clear. Garlic's power is proven in the lab, but it's not a replacement for the pharmacy when it counts. Coming to the top 3, The story behind garlic's absence from pharmacy shelves is less about tradition and more about economics. Patent law draws a hard line. You cannot patent a natural garlic bulb or its crude extract, and that means there is no exclusive window for a company to recover the cost of large clinical trials. Without the promise of exclusivity, pharmaceutical firms see little reason to invest millions in research that anyone else could immediately copy. Instead, the focus shifts to synthetic alternatives, molecules tweaked just enough to qualify for a patent, then sold at a premium. Meanwhile, most doctors, trained within this system, mention garlic only as a seasoning. Even when laboratory research shows clear antibacterial effects. The result is a remedy that stays outside the mainstream, not because it lacks history or evidence, but because it cannot be owned. For a plant that anyone can grow for pennies, that economic reality has kept garlic in the backyard and out of the prescription pad. And finally, in first place, the most powerful proof of tradition lives in the smallest daily act. In Levi's childhood home, his grandfather kept a string of garlic bulbs hanging in the kitchen, never for show, always for use. In that world, a house with garlic within reach was a house that looked after its own. This was more than habit, it was family logic. Garlic wasn't locked away as a secret weapon or hidden cure. It was right there, part of the fabric of ordinary life, trusted and expected, as natural as bread on the table. The real revelation isn't some rare ingredient or forgotten ritual. It's the quiet confidence that comes from doing what your parents and their parents did before them. The modern world may have stopped paying attention, but in these kitchens, the inheritance is clear. The simplest things are often the ones people forget to trust. Or as Levi puts it, doctors will not tell you this, but the simplest things are usually the ones people forget to trust. Across every tradition and test tube, one thread stands out. Sometimes, the most enduring remedies grow close to home, quietly bridging old wisdom and new science. That's the story of garlic, simple, powerful, but never a miracle. As Levi always says, keep your roots strong and your medicine honest. Have you ever used garlic this way? Or is this all new to you? Let us know below. Disclaimer: this video explores folk practices for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Garlic is not a substitute for antibiotics or proper medical care, especially in cases of serious infection, surgery, blood-thinning medications or aspirin, or remedies for children. Always consult your healthcare provider.